Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the University of the West of Scotland Hamilton graduation event. It's a real pleasure for my colleagues and I to have you here this afternoon for what is a wonderful celebration of the graduands, sitting nervously down here on my left, waiting to come up and receive their awards. We hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. Please do clap and cheer when they come up onto the stage, and for everybody have a wonderful event. I declare this ceremony for the Award of Academic Distinctions in session.
Vice Chancellor, with your permission, I have a couple of questions to our graduates. Have you ever been awake all night, working hard, revising everything you should have done, and gone to the exam and feeling that you are not prepared and you're about to fail? This is exactly how I feel now. The second point is I'm Vice Principal Academic, so at the end of my speech there will be a written examination. So please pay attention. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, graduates, the UWS class of 2017. My name is Ehsan Mesbahi, and it is my pleasure as Vice Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor Academic of the university to welcome everybody to this beautiful venue to join in the celebration of today's graduation. Graduation is a special day in the university calendar, but of course, from your perspective, we hope that it is one of the most important days of your lives and the starting point of the next exciting stage in your future plans. The students are the lifeblood of our university, and it is a privilege and an honor for my colleagues and I to share this day with you and with your families and friends. This is truly a historic time for UWS. It is a year when we are celebrating 120 years since our foundation, 25 years with the university title, 10 years as the University of West of Scotland, and the unveiling of new coat of arms, the one which is right hanging in front of this platform. We also have been recognized by Times Higher Education as having risen into the top 3% of universities worldwide, and being ranked by them amongst the top 200 universities of 50 years and under. We have been identified as one of the best teaching universities in the UK, established ourselves as a force for good in research, enterprise, throughout engineering, science, health, culture, education, and business, and are now regularly being shortlisted for awards in many different areas of academic activities. And it is an historic day for you as you complete your learning journey that you entrusted us to help you achieve by graduating today. As you can probably tell from my accent, I'm not originally from Scotland. I'm not even originally from Britain. I'm not even originally from Europe. A bit further away. I was born in Tehran. And since my early teenage years, I grew up, lived, studied, fell in love, and worked in 12,000 cities across Asia, Europe, and America. I lived in London, Calcutta, Mumbai, Colombo, Yokohama, Pisa, Rome, Dubai, Buenos Aires, Newcastle, Lisbon, Singapore, before settling down in Paisley. It is very true that the place where you grow up will have a significant influence in shaping your personality. And by the way, those cities will be a part of the exam paper that you have to write down. It shapes your personality and culture, and is likely to be a place you call home. No matter what the politicians say in London, I am a proud global citizen. Science has no borders. Knowledge has no respect for boundaries, and humanity does not recognize geographical divisions. Smile in every language looks like a smile. I feel very fortunate to have grown up and lived in so many places, closely exposed to very diverse and beautiful groups of people, cultures, religions, foods, and environments. I truly feel that I can call the whole world my home, and I would encourage you to try and experience that too. If you need financial assistance, today is the last day you can ask your parents to pay that for you. This graduation is all about you and is the start of your journey. And you must be ready and prepared to take them on. My question is, are you resilient enough to fail and rise, and fail and rise, and fail and rise again? Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence and resilience. Talent will not help you. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful, talented people. Genius will not. On the word, the genius has almost become a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. The distance between believing and achieving can only be filled by persistence, determination, and resilience. Reaching this point of your life today proves that you have both persistent determination, and you will need more of them once you walk out of this ceremony to the turbulent world outside, facing Brexit, facing Donald Trump, and outside the comfort zones of your family and university. In aspiring to dream, believe, and achieve, you as individuals represent the future in which you can make a difference. With your new UWS qualification, you will now shape the society, become leaders of the future. And our future is depending upon you. So what is your big dream? I'm not sure whether you have asked yourselves. I hope your time at UWS has helped you identify what that vision might be, given you the belief that you can achieve it. Your dream, believe, achieve journey will enable you to change and improve the lives of others. Your university has also achieved it a lot. Through the hard work of colleagues and partners, we have committed to offering high-quality, modern, and relevant research and learning spaces on all our campuses. UWS continues to lead on significant research achievements, having won an Enterprise Award for research into the use of imaging to identify tooth decay and many other medically related alternatives to X-ray. We are world leaders in thin film technology, an authority on dementia research, and Scottish leaders in 5G mobile technology developments. And I suspect many of you did not know about these things. This year we have had academic colleagues appointed to SFA Advisory Board and as a House of Commons Academic Fellow, to name just a few of our achievements. And just in the past few weeks, research headed up by one of our academics has achieved national media coverage as he and his collaborators have made a significant discovery of a protein that has antivirus properties which could have a fundamental role to play in combating viruses and cancer. To support our research, teaching, and conference activities, we have invested in and redeveloped our campuses in Dumfries, Ayr, Paisley, and London. The opening of our new campus in Lanarkshire next year is a further example of our intentions to create a 21st century learning for the whole UWS community. And one person here today who has helped UWS immensely to achieve all the things that I mentioned to you just now is sitting here next to us. This is our Deputy Principal, Professor Paul Martin. Paul joined UWS in 2009 and is retiring in March next year. Paul is a registered nurse and health advisor and was previously registered midwife. Prior to joining UWS, Paul was Chief Executive in NHS Highland and NHS Orkney and Chief Nursing Officer, who is Scotland's most senior nurse, and Director of Health Workforce for Scotland, advising the Cabinet Secretary and Ministers on all matters related to nursing, midwifery, health, and allied health professions. In 2007, Paul was awarded an honorary doctorate here at the University of the West of Scotland in recognition of his work in the sector. And we were delighted to have him to join university as Executive Dean for Education, Health and Social Sciences. He was quickly given additional responsibility as Vice Principal International in 2011 and became Interim Deputy Principal in May 2012 and then made permanent in May 2013. Paul was appointed to the expert roster for the World Health Organization on International Health Regulations by Director General in 2013. In 2017, New Year's Honours List, Paul was awarded the Commander of the Most Distinguished Order of the British Empire, or CBE, for services to healthcare and education. We will be very sad to see Paul retire next year, and we would like to thank him on behalf of myself and my colleagues for all his hard work at the University of the West of Scotland. At this time, I would like also to take the opportunity to thank my academic staff, deans and professional services, and all the colleagues across university that have worked hard to support you. They have supported our wonderful students to reach this end point today. I'm not sure if you realize how proud we are to have you as our graduates. Universities in the 21st century need to move beyond being content in what they are good at, and they have to answer the question of what they are good for. I would like you to leave this room asking yourself, now I am good at something, what am I good for now? Your qualifications today in health, nursing and midwifery, in criminal justice, social science and sound production, in sport and exercise science, coaching, sports development and bioscience with forensic investigation clearly addresses significant health, sustainability and societal challenges surrounding our communities across Scotland, across the UK and across the world. Vice-Chancellor, the graduating cohort today are the testament of our academic excellence at UWS and endeavor to define what UWS is good for. Today, I'm particularly pleased that we will be awarding an honorary doctorate to a truly inspirational Scot this year. David Smith, MBE, has overcome significant obstacles to become a Paralympian. He made the British karate team at 15, competed in regional skiing and athletics, was a bobsleigh brakeman whose team narrowly missed a place at the 2006 Winter Olympics, and has been part of a team that won a gold medal at the 2009 World Rowing Championships, and competed as part of a mixed coxed for winning gold at the 2012 Paralympics in London, and again at the Munich World Cup later that year. As if it wasn't enough, he went on to achieve a place on the British development team in cycling and made the podium in a number of able-bodied time trials, only missing out on one place in the 2016 Paralympics when a tumor on his spine returned and slowed down his training. David is a true inspiration to us all, and I'm absolutely delighted that we are able to recognize his achievements today. He's an excellent example of the strength of the human spirit and what can be achieved in the face of real adversity. He is also a clear example of persistence, determination, and resilience. So you bask in the reflected glory of your achievements today, surrounded by family, friends, and classmates. Take a little time to congratulate yourselves for choosing UWS, one of the most progressive universities anywhere in the world. And please do not forget us. We are your alma mater, and you are now part of a special worldwide network of more than 70,000 UWS graduates or alumni, many of whom have gone on to achieve fame, fortune, and greatness in their chosen field. Our UWS Alumni Association will soon make contact with you to explain our aspirations as a university and the part you might play in our future journey. Like all other universities, we have huge ambitions related to teaching, research, and global engagement, and sustainability and enhancement of our worldwide brand and image. Our motto, Doctrina Prosperitas, or what it means like success through learning, linked with our corporate strategy of dream, believe, and achieve, encapsulate beautifully why UWS is different from other universities and committed to developing a new 21st century approach to higher education. We place the students at our heart. We transform lives. In your absence, I can reassure you that we'll keep developing our curriculum, the pedagogy, which underpins its delivery, and have a range of business and international partnerships that ensure we remain work relevant. The final point I would like to mention to you is we finalized our graduate attributes. I'm not sure whether you have had a look at it or not. These can help our students to identify sorts of skills and abilities that you as universal, work-ready, successful UWS graduates have. And these are the things that employers want. We encourage you all to ensure you reference these in a different articulated form when applying for jobs, and even if you wish to apply for another degree at UWS. See, you have not just learned about your subject and achieved the qualification. You have gained so much more than that, and will be of use to you in the future. During your time here, you also contributed to the university community, and whether you were involved in volunteering, represented your fellow students, or undertook work experience, or played a sport at university or British universities. So I would like you to reflect on this today. Recall all the great things you have done so far and dare to be different. Remember the support you have had from your family and your friends and your classmates, and they are all today immensely proud of you. At this part of my speech, I normally sing. But I have decided now to read what I was supposed to sing, and this is a part of your exam too. You have to find out which movie I have plagiarized it from. As you graduate today, turn your face towards the sun. Let the shadows fall behind you. Don't look back, just carry on, and the shadows will never find you. Shadows chased you far from home. You remember when your heart was filled with gold, and we know you have been burned. We have seen you lost control, and though it was all worth your time. There was a time that you lost your faith and trust, but you and I know gold never turns to rust. I still swear that you will reign like the kings and queens of better yesterdays. In the future, when you get to the edge of the night, that will be the time you should face the sky. Turn your face towards the sun. Let the shadows fall behind you. Don't look back, just carry on, and the shadows will never find you. You dreamed, you believed, you achieved. Enjoy your day.
Vice-Chancellor, it's my privilege to present to you for the honorary degree of Doctor of the University, David Smith. It's on occasions like this you expect to find individuals who have achieved great things, who've endured great challenges and difficulties in life to get where they are today and thus inspire all of us, particularly you new graduates, to seize all the opportunities that lie ahead of you and reach your full potential. I can truly say that David Smith is someone who fits this billing. Briefly, a miracle baby who defied death, surviving crippling childhood and medical misdiagnosis, followed by blood tumors, clots, strokes, paralysis, a life of agonizing pain and multiple life-threatening operations. But what is even more remarkable is the fact that these horrors were miraculously intertwined with successes in any sport to which David happened to turn his hand to. A true survivor who has stared death in the face several times throughout his incredible life and simply refused to give in. All odds have been defied and doctors' advice ignored in a truly extraordinary story of one man's quest, not only to live, but to win. So let's start at the beginning. David was born in Dunfermline in 1978 with 2 club feet and came close to having both feet amputated, but endured multiple surgery to have them reset. He then spent his first 3 years learning to walk in special boots and plaster casts. And no one could have predicted that this was the start of an Olympic career. Maybe this adversity made him more determined, as it quickly became evident that he was a highly competitive sportsman who just wanted to win. His first love was karate, and he soon gained his black belt and represented Britain in the World Championships for 6 years. Desperate to be an Olympian, he switched to sprinting and became a 400-meter champion. But a series of stress fractures meant he had to think again. Concluding that the stress fractures were caused by running around the bend, David decided to switch to a sport where he had to run in a straight line, bobsleigh, where he was selected for Team GB as a brakeman. However, neck and back pains interrupted his training, and he just missed out on selection for the 2006 Winter Olympics by 1/100th of a second. David, still desperate for Olympic success, changed sport again, this time to rowing. He quickly became established in the Paralympic team in the legs, trunks, and arms adaptive mixed coxed 4. Success came quickly, winning the World Championships gold in 2009. In normal circumstances, this would have been a launch pad for further success. But it was at this point David was diagnosed with a tumor in his neck, probably explaining the pain he had been feeling. So he had to undergo a very invasive operation to remove this tumor, leaving him 3 vertebrae light, a neck of bionic structures of cages and screws. If this wasn't bad enough, shortly after the operation to remove this tumor, David nearly died when a large clot formed in the site of the tumor, requiring a further operation to stop the clot crushing his spinal cord. Many of us would have given up any further sporting ambition, but not David. After extensive rehab, he was back rowing and back winning, this time winning the 2011 World Championships, which gave the team qualification to London 2012 Paralympics. And as they say, the rest was history. David and his team winning Paralympic gold. And he was awarded MBE in the 2013 New Year's Honours. However, rowing had taken its toll, and injury forced David to change sport again. He wasn't just going to quit, he was still hungry for success. So in 2014, he joined the British Cycling Paralympic Academy. David loved his cycling, and he was beginning to get some success, with his ultimate target of Rio 2016, when another blow. the tumour was back. The surgeons were not hopeful. They gave David a 1 in 500 chance of survival. At best, he might be paralysed from the neck down. At worst, his cycling career was over. So here he was again, flat on his back, in a hospital bed, in extreme pain, a hole in his spine where they drilled through his neck and hacked a tumour the size of a tennis ball. You can't walk, you can't sit up, you can't eat, you're drugged to the eyeballs, unable to move pretty much anything below the waist. What would most of us be thinking? Give up? Not David. His first thought coming round from anaesthetic. Rio 2016 is only 2 years away. I need to get back on a bike. What you need to consider here is that this is someone who now needs to learn how to walk again, who initially will struggle to complete the most basic tasks of self-care like brushing his teeth. And all he wants to do is to win a bike race at the Olympics. So that's the target he set himself. Well, not quite. His first target was to get himself fit enough to be able to cycle up one of the most feared climbs in France, Mont Ventoux. Now, believe me, I know. I have cycled up there, and it's over 20 kilometers of unrelenting gradient. But, of course, it wasn't going to be good enough for David to do it once. He wanted to do it 3 times in one day. And all this just 6 months after his surgery. Thankfully, for all of us, this was captured for a BBC documentary called Dead Man Cycling. It covers an 18-month period before and after his surgery, and I encourage all of you to Google that and watch it. Personally, I found it one of the most inspiring documentaries I've ever watched, and I'm sure you will find the same. Of course, David did manage to complete his 3 ascents of Mont Ventoux, but unfortunately, in January 2016, the tumour returned, requiring a further operation and thus put to an end David's Rio 2016 ambition. Upon waking from that operation, David found that he was paralysed down one side of his body. Of course, determined as usual, he spent the next 8 months trying to get his body to work again. And as David has recorded in his blog, it was no longer about medals or titles, it was about living. However, I am obviously delighted that he is here today, and I know he does not like to be regarded as inspirational. But the word inspiration doesn't even come close. In my eyes, and I presume yours, he's an inspiration to all of us for the sheer grit and determination to succeed. David is a born winner, a force of nature, who has repeatedly fought back to triumph over adversity. Accordingly, I would now like to present to you, for the award of honorary degree, Doctor of the University, David Smith.
Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of the School of Health, Nursing and Midwifery, I present to you for the degree of Master of Research, with a thesis entitled Christians' Experiences of Faith and Mental Well-Being, an Interpretative Phenomenological Analysis. Avro Cutler. And for the degree of Master of Science, Health Studies, Community Health, and winner of the Court Medal, Heather Jane Gallagher. And for the degree of Master of Science, Later Life Studies, Margaret Callahan. And for the degree of Master of Science, Maternal and Child Health, Advanced Pediatric Practice, with distinction and winner of the Court Medal, Isabel MacLeod. And for the degree of Master of Science, Maternal and Child Health, Advanced Pediatric Practice, Julie Ann Allinson. And for the postgraduate diploma in Specialist Community Public Health Nurse, Health Visitor, and winner of the Court Medal, Emma Catherine Strathern. And for the postgraduate diploma in Specialist Community Public Health Nurse, Health Visitor, Maxine Baer. Eleanor Canado. Leanne Carmichael. Tracy Duffy. Arlene Gordon. Karen Hanley. Lorraine Colvin Hay. Alison Margaret MacDonald. Kirsty MacLeod. Laura Jane McBride. Gail McCallum. Marie Christina McMahon. Jacqueline Teresa Morrison. Donna Marie Penman. Liz Ann Martha Roy. Stacey Weir. Anne Claire Willis. Megan Wilson. Shelley Wilson. And for the Graduate Certificate in Personality Disorder, Peter McDade. Diane Rafferty. Emmanuel Raisin. And for the Graduate Certificate in Working with Older People, Deborah Jane Whitehead. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science Health Studies, Emma Linda Pollock. Ruth Miles Prentice. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science Midwifery with distinction and winner of the Court Medal, Alexis O'Brien. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science Midwifery with distinction, the following students: Jill Armour, Ashley Blair, Sarah Margaret Howarth, Kirsty Carol Kelly, Leslie McBrearty, Jennifer Nancy McKitting, Michelle Tannehill, Vicky Woods, and for the degree of Bachelor of Science Midwifery, Geraldine Barton. Lucy Margaret Biggins. Alice Jane Brawley. Jennifer Mary Brown. Wendy Helen Constable. Natalie Gallagher. Lauren Jones. Audrey Marie Lardy. Melissa Lee Liner. Shannon Arlene Little. Kaylee Maxwell. Paula Elizabeth McGilp. Ailey Syme McMath. Amy Nichol. Lynn Helen Walker. Lauren Sarah Weir. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science Professional Health Studies, Lindsay Lochry. Joanna Leslie Reed. Lindsay Janet Simpson. Hazel Josephine Stewart. And finally, Catherine White.
Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of the School of Media, Culture and Society, I present to you, for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Criminal Justice with Honours, Rebecca Bridget Duffy. Sarah McCracken. Megan Demi McCrudden. Kirsty McCulloch. Rachel McPhee. Darren James Much. Emma Yule. And for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Social Science with Honours, Malin Deton. Chloe May Grenfell. Carrie Nicholson. Amy Elizabeth Catherine Nidry. And for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Commercial Sound Production, and winner of the Court Medal, Jamie Stewart Flynn. And for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Commercial Sound Production, Anthony Brennan. Caroline Burns. Greg James Clark. Ross David Gray. Kieran Gregg. Lee Keenan. Stuart Andrew Linus. Matthew Ian McDougall. Jamie McIntyre. Christopher Quinn. Stuart Gebby Watt. And for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Criminal Justice, Chloe Pauline Aitken. Amy Clark. Kirsty Fraser Finlay. Michelle Mooney. Karen Ann Neal. Tony Nicole Thompson. Lucy Campbell Toll. Caitlin Wright. And for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Social Science, Christine Eva Gerard. And finally, Dana McMillan.
Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of the School of Science and Sport, I present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis entitled An Electromyography and Performance Investigation of the Forearm and Back Muscles During the Golf Swing, Graham Gavin Sorby. And for the degree of Master of Research, with a thesis entitled Improving School-Based Healthcare Interventions and Activities, Qualitative Investigations with Teachers and Parents, Samantha Gallagher Donnelly. And with a thesis entitled The Feasibility and Preliminary Effectiveness of Evaluating a Teacher-Led Health Resource for Improving Measures of Health and Well-Being in Primary School Children, Gillian McClellan. And for the degree of Master of Science Biotechnology with distinction and winner of the Court Medal, Chiamaka Belsonia Opara. And for the degree of Master of Science Biotechnology with distinction, the following students: Abiola Kikalomo Afonya, Sulaiman Olarawaju Idowu, and for the degree of Master of Science Biotechnology, Hafsa Khan. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Sport and Exercise Science with honours, Gavin Peter McNichol. Erin Louise Robertson. Ian Robinson. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science Sport Coaching with honours, Hannah Hegarty. Gavin Mitchell. Hannah Margaret Patterson. Laura McFadden Spears. Ben Stafford. Ryan Wilson. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science Sport Development with Honours, Heather Black. Grant William Moore. Alexander Ricky Patterson. Don't rush. Yvonne Watt. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science Applied Bioscience with Forensic Investigation, Mohammed Mujahid Imtiaz Chaudhry. Rebecca Karen Heatherill. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Sport and Exercise Science, Natalie Margaret Cowan. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Sport Coaching with Distinction, Amy Spears Young. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Sport Coaching, Callum Crohan. Owen Gemmell. Molly Godfrey. Natasha Humphreys. Connor Ian David Jameson. Craig Robert James McBurney. Lauren Cheryl Pettigrew. Melissa Perry. Stacey Reed. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science Sport Development, Cameron Kearney. Craig James Carswell. Gary Brendan Coyle. Taylor Elise Cumberbatch. Andrew Fountain. William George Francis. Fiona Ann Mackay. Andrew Murdoch. Fraser Orr. Jordan Rennie. Jane Ellen Stewart. And finally, Ross Wilson.
Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and graduates. Today is all about, obviously, the graduates, and we're here to celebrate in their success. And I'm just truly honoured to have been awarded this award by the university. It's a great honour and highlight in my career and my life. But ultimately, I'm just very humbled to sit and see all the work that you guys have put in over the last 3-4 years to come up and receive your awards. It's truly inspirational for me to see you apply yourself academically. But like was said before me, your journey starts now. And I think back to when I was diagnosed with my last tumour. I remember coming off my bike at 30 miles an hour in Spain, and I stood up and I didn't have a scratch on me. And I was like, thank God I'm fine. That was fine. My bike was broken, but I was fine. 2 weeks later, I went in for the scan that I have every 5 months. And it's an interesting way of living your life every 5 months. I never know what that scan is going to tell me. I've never had a clear scan in 7 years. So I walked into this scan hopeful, with a pure focus of Rio. I went into every scan not thinking I'm going to be diagnosed. I always went in thinking I'm fine, I feel healthy, I feel fit. So I went and had the scan. And then a few weeks later, I was on the velodrome in Manchester, and I got almost like what was like holding one of those electric fences that keep the cattle in place. It was like an electric shock, and I fell over off my bike. And I remember at that point thinking, oh my God, that's the one symptom I know that's not going to bring good news. And I went home that night, and I had a call from my surgeon who said, you need to come back down to Oxford. And I remember last time he made that call, much to the hatred of my mother, he made that call to say, you have to come down, and I actually had a time trial on. And I called back saying, no, I've actually got a time trial to do in the north of Scotland. I'll come down next week for the results, which obviously I tried to lie to my mum about that. But this time, I knew this time something wasn't right. So I went down, walked into the room. But this time I know my surgeon well. He's basically chopped me up 3 or 4 times, and we have quite a relationship. So I walked into the room, I could tell by his face, and he basically said, look, you're not going to go to Rio. And I said, well, how do you know I'm not that fast? I wasn't very fast, but how did you know this? But he said, look, I hate to tell you, but it's obviously come back. The risks are even more this time. And we have to do an emergency surgery. He said, have you done anything stupid over the last few months? And I was like, most days I do something stupid. But he said the tumour had actually hemorrhaged. And I said, well, actually, I crashed on my bike at 30 miles an hour. And he just looked at me, going, oh my God. He said, I tell you to take it easy, and you come off your bike at 30 miles an hour. He said, whatever you do not go back on your bike. You're going to need an emergency surgery in 2 weeks. So I left that surgery, and I think we only live once, and there's no point being a passenger through life. It's very easy to become a passenger, and you wake up every morning, you go and do your usual routine, you take everything for granted, and you don't really live with a passion and purpose of what you do. And you complain about the weather, you complain about everything. For me, I looked at him and went, I won't go near my bike. The first place I went was back to Manchester. My coach said, look, Bradley Wiggins and Mark Cavendish are on the track tomorrow. Do you want to join them? I was like, absolutely. So I forgot what he said. If I'd come off my bike, then I probably wouldn't be standing speaking to you today. But I didn't come off my bike. I didn't keep up with those guys either. But it was fun to ride it. And when I was riding around on the bike, I thought, this might be the last time I ever ride a bike. The surgery this time might not go so well. And I just took everything in for the first time in my whole sport and life. I'd always taken it for granted, even like today for you guys. It goes so quickly, and it's a rush. But sit back, always with what you do in life. Just stand back for a second, pause, and take it in, and just see how grateful you are for that moment, because you can never get that moment back again. So when I was riding around the velodrome, it wasn't about performances, it wasn't about times, there was no pressure. I just enjoyed riding with those guys. So I walked down to hospital a few days later. I walked in fully fit. I had no symptoms, I felt great, and after a 9.5-hour operation, I woke up and I was completely paralyzed down one side of my body. And I thought, oh, this is not really great. And I ended up spending 5 months in hospital. I basically lay every day in a bed, I couldn't move. I think it was after about 7 or 8 days, I got the physio to wheel me down in a wheelchair to the rehab gym, and they put me on a stationary seated bike, and I used to sit and pedal for 30 minutes, telling him that I was going to go and cycle across the Alps in 5 months' time. And I think he thought I was mad. He kept encouraging me to see the psychologist, and I kept refusing. In life, you will be told you can't do things. People, I'm sure everyone in this room at some point has been told, you wear your heart on your sleeve. I have a dream to do this. I have a goal. And somebody along the way will say, oh, you'll never achieve this. You'll never achieve that. I was told this numerous times. You're David Smith, born with club feet from Dunfermline. You live in Aviemore. You'll never go to the Olympics. And I just always never refused to believe that. So when I got transferred from the neurological hospital to Stoke Mandeville, which is the home of the Paralympics, and the National Spinal Centre, I was really excited. I went in thinking, this is the home of Paralympic sport. They're going to be so positive. I couldn't have been further from the truth. I was met with the first physio that said to me, you will never walk again. You will never do sport again. Welcome to Stoke Mandeville. And I was like, well, it's not quite Butlins or a Club Med holiday. So this is going to be a very tough stay. And it's not going to be physically tough. It's going to be mentally tough. And it tests my resilience. And sport's great for that. It gives you a resilience. And I also think growing up in Scotland, and even living in Scotland, gives you a resilience because we've got to put up with dreadful summers and even harsh winters. So I think we do have this inner resilience as stubborn Scots. I went to my first goal planning meeting, almost probably what you have done in school or university to talk about your future and your goals. And I said, they asked me what my goals were, and I said, well, I would love to ride for Great Britain again and cycle across the Alps. And the lady looked at me and said, I think we should start with brushing your teeth. And trying to wash yourself and make it to the toilet, which was a big thing. And I just looked at her and I thought, oh my God, we're not going to get on well. So yes, I became that awkward student who asks too many questions. I became the horrible person. Every time I went to the gym, the physio was like, oh my God, here he comes again. But I believed, and this is what I encourage you to do, when people tell you you can't achieve something, the only person that is your biggest opponent in life is inside between both of your ears. It's inside your own mind. It's the only thing that will hold you back in life, no matter what physical limitations you have. Like 2 weeks ago, I watched a documentary of a guy that was born with no limbs climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and I remember lying there thinking, I'm struggling with one arm and one leg at the moment, and this guy's just climbed one of the highest peaks in the world. So you have to believe in yourself. It's not easy. There'll be days where you struggle. There'll be days where I woke up and I cried in my bed. Only last week I was crying in my bed because I was struggling. And these days will come. They will happen. It's about having the self-awareness to know when they're there and then what you do to get through it. But ultimately it's your self-belief. It's surrounding yourself with good people, positive people, friends, family, the people that have supported you through your university career and will support you on to the end of your journey as well. But ultimately, if I could leave you with any message today on what I've learned is to live life with a passion and a purpose, to never take anything for granted. I wake up every morning and I see 3 things I'm grateful for. Because I remember when I was lying in hospital, a friend of mine, he called me and he said, how are you getting on? And I said, well, I'm struggling this time. Mentally, I'm really struggling. And he said, David, he says, wake up every morning and write down 3 things you're grateful for. You can always find them. And I was like, well, Gary, it's easy for you. You played for Man United, you married Miss World, and you're living in Florida. I've just pooed on the nurse, and I'm currently about to have a bed bath at the age of 38, which is not great. But what I learned in hospital, the 5 months I was there, I met some amazing characters, some very funny characters. I think the most funniest moment, I try to add humor. I think humor is great when it comes to resilience. And I think that the most humorous thing was I couldn't feel my legs. And I didn't think I'd ever walk. And then one morning, it was about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up. I could feel my feet. And I was like, oh my God, I feel my feet, I feel my feet. I woke up, and little did I know that Frank, who was next to me, who was an 83-year-old gentleman who had suffered a stroke, was actually massaging my feet. And telling me I had nice feet, so he definitely was going blind in his old age. But he wasn't wearing any clothes, so it was quite alarming. So these things got me through hospital. We had many jokes, we had many laughs, but ultimately it was the humor that got us through. It was my friends in hospital that were my teammates. It's what will get you through the hard times when you go on. It's what probably got you through the hard times when you're coming up for exams in university, the times you struggle. You lean on your friends. It's okay to ask for help. I was very stubborn and didn't ask for help, and now I realize how important it is to actually to ask for help and reach out when you need it. And I walked out of that hospital. I was determined to walk out and leave my wheelchair. I'm back racing for Great Britain. I race in 2.5 weeks' time in my first race. I have to get lifted onto the bike, and I have to get lifted off of the bike. Half my body gets put in carbon devices, but for that 5 minutes, I'm cycling around the velodrome, and I don't have a disability. No one looks at me and says, oh, you're the guy with tumors or anything. For that 5 minutes, I'm free. And what I learned in hospital is I've been fortunate in my life to do lots of sports, but there was nobody in that hospital room that didn't have some form of regret of saying, you know what, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd only known about this. I wish I hadn't turned down this. Everyone over the 5-6 months I was in there said the same thing. You know what, I wish I'd just maybe left the office a little bit early that day and went skiing. And it's about getting opportunities, and I encourage you to do the same. We only live once. Go out and seize every opportunity that comes to you. Always say yes, and have a fantastic life. I wish you all the best with your studies and future careers, and thank you so much. I'm just incredibly honored to have shared your special day. Thank you.
That concludes this afternoon's graduation ceremony. Rather a moving commentary there by David, which I'm sure many of you will have been touched by, but a great example of life and what can be achieved. One thing we often say to our graduates is you never know where your life's going to take you, and he's a wonderful example of exactly that philosophy. Paul, who you heard talked about before, who's my deputy, started life as an auxiliary nurse at 17. And didn't know that his life was going to take him through the story and the journey that it did, that Essen told you about when he was giving the address at the beginning. And that's what we say to you. You have no idea what opportunities are going to befall you in life. But as David has very clearly said, take the opportunities when the door opens. Don't say no. And you have no idea where your life will end up taking you to. This has been a really special ceremony, David. Thank you. You made it. So. I declare this ceremony closed. In doing so, I invite you back to the Armada Hall where there's a reception waiting for you all, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.